Okay, we're getting the message that water is special and that we should drink it, but what water should we drink? And so that at that time, the only water that we had that was used for cleaning up the body or having an interface with the body was the still water. What has happened over the last 12 years is that my curiosity and my God has allowed me to go all over the world. It has actually drawn me to certain places around the world. And I could be on vacation and just happen to be sitting on a plane next to somebody that puts another piece of the puzzle together. I look forward next month to going high in the Himalayas of Russia and China, meeting with gentlemen that are over 200 years of age, and putting together some other pieces of the puzzle in terms of the magic of water. And when I look at this earth, and we can learn all we need to know from nature, and I see that at this time that our planet is in trouble, that 15% of the water on the earth should be drinkable. Only 1% is drinkable. And really less than that now. I begin to say, boy, we're having a problem here. When I know that my body chooses to be approximately 85% water, and my brain would like to be 90% water, and ideally, as a newborn, would like to be 99% water, I'd say again, we're in trouble. And when I look to see what water am I going to drink that will allow my body to get in that kind of shape. When I look off the coast, as you are close to the water here in Philadelphia, and I recognize that most of the oxygen that we breathe comes from plants in the sea, not from the trees on the earth. And I find that the ocean plants have actually turned into a virtual desert. They no longer exist. And so the 15% oxygen content that we should be breathing is now down to, the 25 to 30% oxygen content that we were breathing even 20 years ago is now down to 18%. At 14%, we all go into coma. So we have real problems right now with our water, with our air. And what can we do about it? As I look at the earth and it being 85% water also, I say there's similarities here. So that as the earth is dying, so are we. If I take a gentleman at age 70 and measure the amount of water in his body, we find that he has half the amount of water in his body that he had when he was 40 years of age. If that same 70-year-old man was also obese, I find that he'd have half of that. So in fact, do we age or do we just dry up? We have a problem. And as I say, all life on earth is dependent on water. Now, what does water look like? I'm projecting here a model of water taken by a Dr. Emoto in Japan, who has perfected a way of looking at what a water crystal looks like. And it should look just like that. Get this better focus. And one's a little bit more technical than I. Needless to say, this is a 6. It may be as clear as we can get for the moment. I think that's maybe the picture itself. Needless to say, the 6-sided crystal structure is what a water molecule looks like under an electron microscope. And this is what it ideally should look like. It should have the 6 pointed star shape to it in structure. This is what tap water looks like under the same conditions in the electron microscope. No structure whatsoever. We got a problem. Now, what is going on with our water systems? And I'm going to take for granted that you know a certain amount of things about what's happening in water. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but we're going to zero in on some of the more difficult information that we can get to. But if I take one simple thing here, like chlorine, what happens when I add chlorine to the water? Remember that chlorine was used during the First World War as a gas to kill folks. When you take a shower every day, you take gas of chlorine into your lungs. When that gas of chlorine enters your lungs and it mixes with decaying vegetable substance in your body, it turns into what we call trihalomethanes, or THMs. Now, what's a trihalomethane? One of those long words. It's cleaning fluid. Same thing your cleaners uses to clean your clothes. That's what you just created in your digestive tract. And it is a known cancer-causing agent. So something as simple as just simply taking a shower, where you've not used the right implement on your shower head, can create your exposure to cancer. If that's exposed to decaying meat substance, now what am I talking about here again? I'm talking about a slow-moving bowel, where your stuff's moving very slowly out of your system. Now I've created a pace in that digestive tract, which creates arteriosclerosis, or hardening of the arteries. All proven facts. And all I did was take a shower every morning without knowing it. Now, not to put my finger on any particular manufacturer, but when I know I've got big pockets, and therefore I can get commercials on the TV set, and thus the Brita filter, which has been on the market for several years, is owned by the Clorox company. How long does it last? Approximately 2 weeks. And then you begin to reintroduce back into that water what you thought you were taking out. Keep those things in mind when you're talking about, I got clean, safe water, that I am giving to myself and to my children. And my gauge that a water is safe enough is, can I give that water to my grandchild safely? Because he's totally dependent on us to give him what he eats and drinks. So can I safely give him this substance and know that he doesn't have to worry about it, or I don't have to worry about it either? That's your gauge. Forget the court. Yes, I do want it to stand up in court if I have to go. Yes, I do want it to stand up to academic scrutiny if I have to go. So a lot of pretenders out there say that they have things that'll make your water safe, but will it hold up to the scrutiny that it needs? What's the property of a water? And I'm going to take this down because it's very hard for me to talk into a mic, and I'm just going to hold it. There, I feel more comfortable. What are some of the properties of what we call bioavailable waters? And what do I mean by bioavailable waters? that means not only does this water I drink go right through me and make me go to the bathroom, but does it give something back to the cells? Does it allow those cells to begin to heal themselves? That's what I call a bioavailable water. So that it's going to give something good back to the body. Now understand that drinking almost any water will help. And it would probably eliminate half of the diseases on the planet if we just got people to drink water. But what are some of the characteristics? We saw the crystalline structure earlier in terms of what it should look like. Another characteristic is it should have small molecular clusters. Now all water clusters, as you can see, tap water, but it's the size of the cluster that makes the difference. And tap water is up there around 13 to 15 molecules per cluster. By the time I get down to the waters that are bioavailable, they're between 5 to 7 molecules per cluster. And that small size is significant. If you can think of clustering, it's like a cluster of grapes. And they begin to move together like that when we look at them. Those crystals come together in a crystal cluster, just like a cluster of grapes. And the smaller they are, the easier it is for that water to enter the brain and the tissues of the body. Now, most non-small clustered waters cannot cross what we call the blood-brain barrier. That means they cannot get into the brain cells because they're too large. They cannot get into the tissues and organs of the body, like your heart, like your lungs. They have difficulty. It's like a secondary effect to get there. The bioavailable waters go right to the brain and allow that brain to get that 90% water that we want it to have. So clustering and size of the cluster becomes very significant. Now in 1995, U.S. government did its thing, and that was, it said to the American people, okay, there is no safe water left in the United States that you can drink. No safe water left in the United States. And that was a one-day announcement. And they've done their public service to announce to the public. But what they said was boil your water or use reverse osmosis. Now in boiling your water, many of the toxins in the water just get more concentrated. So you really made the problem even worse. With reverse osmosis, it's a good way of taking things out of the water. It's very expensive. Membranes have to be changed every quarter. And it takes too much out. You're left with what we talk about in water circles as dead water. It gives nothing back to the body. So you've got to add things in order to have it interact with the cells of your body. So reverse osmosis, or the things that they recommended, weren't really that good. Now I want you to notice at the bottom of this, electrolysis, because there are machines that use that process to change your tap water into what would be comparable to vegetable juice. Now this isn't the same electrolysis as taking hairs off of your chin or whatever. And people say, electrolysis, oh, I know what that is. No, this is a special process that the plates in the machine, and this is something to look for, are made from platinum and titanium, not stainless steel. This is the way you want to discern, do I have something that's going to do what I want it to do? It should have platinum and titanium plates in it. Now, why electrolysis? If I compare, and let's look at this for a minute, a gentleman by the name of Professor Vincent in France attempted to put together a standard that one could use to measure what is good water, what fits in a category ideally as a bioavailable water. And so he looked at 3 factors: resistance, the purity, pH, and the RH2, which breaks down to the oxidation reduction potential. Now, if I put this back on, and we compare